apple crisp. Yum. Let's make some. Hey y'all, it's me, Hetty, and I'm going to share with you what I'm making today. You're going to love it. I'm going to get right into it. This is a remake of an old video. Y'all know I've been slowly trying to remake old videos and pull the old ones down. When I did the original video, it was one of my first videos. No mic, horrible lighting, horrible camera, horrible angles on everything. So, having said that, we're making this yummy apple crisp. My husband came home with a sack, double bagged, just full to the brim with apples that they had given away at his job. There were several different varieties. They didn't grow them. They didn't come from anybody's house. I think somebody just had gone to the farmer's market, and every once in a while they'll get a huge thing of fruit and they'll split it amongst everybody. Anyway, there was a surplus of apples. So the varieties were, it was a mix of about 4 different apples. There were some Gala, there was some, a few Granny Smith, there were Honeycrisp and Ambrosia, and I love Ambrosia apples, and I've made this with just, in the original video, Ambrosia apples are what I used, and they're so good. Any of the best baking apples are great for this recipe, and as y'all know, the information's always below, down here in the description box. Let's get started. All right, to get going, as you can see, I've got in between 9.5 and a little over 10 cups of, I wasn't gonna measure them again. I think I measured them wrong, so I do think I might have just a hair at 10, maybe slightly half an apple over 10 if that matters. It won't, it's going to be all good. All right, and to mix in with the apples, right here I've got a cup of sugar. All right, I've got 1.5 tablespoons of flour right here, just all-purpose flour. And I have a rounded teaspoon of cinnamon here. And because I had cut these up last night, and I made a gallon of, I keep pulling on this, I don't know how I'm doing that, hold on. Anyway, in all honesty, I cut these up last night. Sometimes I dice them, and for my pies too, and sometimes I just cut them up like this. Well, y'all know I've been ill, and then I just started having a spell, and I couldn't finish anymore. So I made up a gallon of, now if I'm just doing apples pretty quick, if I had literally just cut those before this video, I'd just toss them with some lemon juice, you know, to keep them from turning brown. But I knew that wasn't going to exactly work because I had to just soak them all night. So what I did was I just made up a gallon of this Fruit Fresh. It's made by Ball. You can get it at the grocery store. And you can use it for a lot of things, you know, so they won't turn brown. But anyway, peaches, etc., but they don't sponsor me. I'm not trying to push them. I'm just telling you what I did. And so since these were in water, even though I drained them, sorry, I'm bumping the camera, but even though I drained them, I still put them in a colander. I've been letting them sit for a little bit to continue to drain into that glass bowl. And so that all gets tossed in. I'm probably, because I soaked them, my point was, you would probably need a little bit of water, maybe just a couple of tablespoons. I probably am not going to use water because these have been soaking all night. So they're going to have their own water in them, as they do anyway, but even more so. So this is all for to toss with the apples, okay? Now there's the topping that you make. And so for the topping, I've got about 1.25 cups of oats. Right here, I have a cup of all-purpose flour. I have 1.25 cups here of packed brown sugar. I have a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and yes, I make my own extract, and you can too. I'm getting almost out of my regular extract, and this right here, this is a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. You can't see them probably, I'll try to show you, and then there's a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, as in Arm & Hammer, okay? And then I've got a pinch of salt, and I'm using my Redmond, so it's a little pink if you see that. And that's what this is. Then I have a stick of melted butter, and this all is for the topping, along with the vanilla extract. So I don't want to knock that over. I'm going to move it out of the way so it's safe. All right. I have some I also have some room temp butter because I'm going to butter this casserole dish I'm using. Okay, I'm just using a big round. Y'all see me use it in videos. I love to make shepherd's pie, and it was already out because we used it. So I said, well, heck, that's what I'm going to use to make this. You could use a 10 by 13, you know, just casserole dish, anything like that, anything you want to use like that. Okay, and that's kind of simple, isn't it? So let me switch some stuff around so I can start mixing these apples, and I'll show you. But I do want to show you something else real quick. Look at this. This is my batch. I started this the last week of June. I have 3 just like this. And I knew if I started then, see, I would have it ready for my holiday baking. So yeah, I bit the bullet. My husband, they probably thought he was a drunk. He stopped by the liquor store and got the vodka and everything. And I had some pods, and I actually got more pods. And I actually transferred some of my older pods from my last batch into this. So it just keeps making the gift that keeps on giving. But this is smelling lovely already, even though that's not what I'm using today. But it just made me thinking, I make it, so somewhere up here, you know, I'll put a link of how I make it. I also make my own brown sugar, so I'll put another link up here somewhere of how I make my brown sugar. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm going to move some stuff around so we can mix these apples up, okay? I'll be right back. Alrighty, first things first is I've got my cup of just regular white. This is pure cane sugar. I'm just going to go ahead and add everything in. I'm going to sprinkle this flour over it. And I'm not going to stir it hard. I'm just simply going to just kind of get that mixture mainly throughout the apples. And again, I'm withholding my water, but you pay attention to what's going on in the description box below with my actual recipe. Because, you know, you may or may not soak your apples. I normally do not. So this was just a fluke thing. I've been trying to get some content out for y'all, and you know, it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie. So I can see I've got so much moisture in these apples. I do not see it in any way, shape, or form if I am going to need any more water, and I'm not. So I'll use him for something else. Pour it in the cat bowl. Alrighty, I'm gonna mix this. Just to cut down on editing time. You're not going to sit here and hear me ramble and mix this apple stuff, okay? So anyway, I'll be back. Okay, that was just a little light toss. I mainly just folded, went up through the middle like this, like that. And a lot of times I'll literally only add about 2 tablespoons of water anyway. A lot of times I just barely sprinkle a little water on it, not even probably a tablespoon's worth, but I don't need any for this, okay? So, and by the way, since we're talking about apples, I'm telling you, I'm not just tooting my own horn, but if you want some amazing apple pie filling, I'll put a link up here to how I make my apple pie filling. I'll also, somewhere in the video, I'll put a playlist. I've got lots of fun Halloween recipes. I also have some autumn recipes. Some of those are still older, but they're there. So anyway, all right, that's it for the apples. Now we're going to get going on mixing up the crumble topping. So let me move some stuff around, and then we're going to just keep going. Alrighty, as you can see, I moved everything around. I went ahead and buttered my dish. You can just use Pam if you want to, but I just had that softened butter, and I said I'm going to just use it. All right, so I'm going to just throw in the brown sugar, my flour, baking soda, baking powder, and my pinch of salt, my oats, my extract, and the melted butter. And much like I did before, just to get this started, I'm just going to kind of fold this all in together. It's going to be crumbly. You're not making a dough or anything like that. I'm just trying to get all the stuff. It's actually, I'm wanting to mix it up through the oatmeal. So just like before, I keep bumping this camera the way I've got it rigged tonight. It's probably not too smart the way I did it, but I did. So I'll bring you back as soon as I get this incorporated. Just look, just keep going in like this, kind of folding up from the bottom and coming up. And as soon as I get that done, I'll bring you right back. Okay, now I'm almost done. Your main goal is you just want to get the sugar distributed throughout, the butter equally kind of distributed. And I just go and I love these, you know, y'all know I've talked about them before. I love these silicone rubber spatulas. And I just kind of come through. My main thing is I want that flour to disappear. I don't need big pockets of brown sugar, nothing like that. All right, or flour. So, well, I just said I wanted the flour to disappear, then I'm repeating myself. Can y'all tell I'm still definitely, I'm far from up to par. Okay, anyway, this is about where I like this. So this hadn't taken me, honest to goodness, if I wasn't talking, this took me way less than a minute. I mean, dumping everything in and mixing it. Less than that, really, if I wasn't filming. All right, so here's this. And now he's just going to come right over here. And here comes the apple part. And if I didn't mention it, pardon me if I didn't. Y'all know, I already said that in this video, but the information is always below in the description box. I do not make you click different places to get a simple recipe. I just put it down below. And if y'all really love me, hit that like button, please. It helps me so much. And I do want to mention, I'll address this in the next live, but y'all know I apologize in live already. I am going to have to start uploading some shorts. They changed the algorithm and basically see, look at all that, there's that water. I wouldn't have put that much water in there, but it'll cook down. It'll be fine. This will be really good. And it's going to be, after it cools down and everything, it'll be like the consistency of an apple pie. Anyway, what I was saying is they changed that algorithm and they're just basically forcing, yeah, I said it, they're forcing creators to make shorts. So I'm not trying to aggravate y'all. I'm just trying to keep that algorithm active, okay? So, I missed out. Oh no, you're coming in with them. You go in with your buddies. Now we've got this topping. This is the easiest thing to make. Look, if you go, I guess they're not even called potluck suppers anymore. Say you got a church function, a holiday party, you're going to somebody's house for Thanksgiving. This is a really nice thing to take. Really nice thing to take. And I've even done it where I made it in those disposable foil things. You know, those little casserole dishes you can get. They have the little lids on them. Little plastic lids. That way, you know, it depends on whose house you're going to. You won't have to worry about getting a dish back. Now what I do is I go all around. I just try to loosely cover everything before I start bringing it together, because if you put it all in a blob, I probably could have added a tablespoon more butter probably, but I didn't. So we have it all in now, and now I'm just going to take the back of this spatula and I don't think I might can get it mostly all covered, but I'm sorry I keep bumping that camera. So if I can remember my train of thought. Anyway, I was going to say I blob it on and then I come back. If you blob it all up in one spot, it's harder. You're just trying to loosely cover the apples. Doesn't have to be exact. But y'all, this is good. Talk about autumn and when it's baking. Woo! You have no idea how good it smells. Oh my goodness, and if I didn't mention this, preheat your oven to 350. I'll remember, and I'll put a text in the beginning of the video to remember to preheat your oven to 350. All right, so I'm just going to kind of fill in these gaps, and then it's going to go in anywhere between 45 minutes up to an hour. It's fine. You're going to just go in and check it after 45 minutes and see if it's done. And then you're going to need to let it rest for about 20 minutes at least. So, but what I was going to say is, can y'all believe I don't have my homemade ice cream? I didn't have any vanilla ice cream. This is so perfect with ice cream, vanilla ice cream on top. But if you don't have that, you can chantilly cream's perfect for it. And chantilly cream mainly being just, you know, whipped cream with vanilla extract in it instead of just plain whipped cream. All right, I think that's about it. He's about to go in the oven. So I'll give y'all my time. Y'all know I've told this till I'm blue in the face. All ovens are different. What takes 50 minutes in mine could take an hour and 4 minutes in yours. It's just depend. You already know by now if you've been baking or whatever. You do know if you're making cookies or whatever you're making. Is it done sooner than the time says? Okay, that means you got a fast oven. If you put it in and you say to the recipe, well, she said an hour and it's still an hour and 10 minutes. Well, then you've got a slow oven. And what I would suggest is make sure, if you're not sure, go get you one of those $5 little oven. It's got to say it's for an oven. It hooks in there on one of the racks. It's got a little hook on the top. You just hook it in there, and that's how it'll help you calibrate to the right temp. If you put your oven on 350 and it's only 330, then you know you need to go up some, and then you can regulate it that way until you can get a new stove or something. Look, I've had crappy stoves. Y'all know I was proud of my new stove we moved in here. I'm going to shut up. I'm putting this in the oven, and I will see y'all when it's done. It's hot and bubbly. Look at that bubble action. Num, 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 num. Look at these edges. Woo! Oh, yeah. Look at that. I let it cool for about 10 minutes. Now I brought it over here. I've got on a trivet so some air can circulate underneath. And when this is cooled down for at least another 20 minutes, believe me, it will still be warm. And you got to remember, this is not apple pie, this is apple crisp, okay? So, having said that, I'm going to go whip up a quick batch of chantilly cream. All right, y'all. We're going to cut into this, and I'm going to give you some in a bowl. And if you oh yeah, nice. Now it's going to have some juice. Now as it stands, it's going to firm up a lot more, okay? But I'm guaranteeing you, I've made this too many times. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. And now, I also wasn't fancy with the cream. I should have whipped it more. But I'm having to hit them with a spoon, keep them back. So anyway, look, I just plopped some cream on there. It's just family. I'm not trying to be foo-foo. I hope y'all try this, and I hope you'll like it. Very fall, great any time of the year, but really, I don't know, I start wanting to do fall recipes and stuff, and I've always made this during the fall, and so that's what I did today. We're having some nice cool weather. But anyway, I'm going to shut up so they can get their apple crisp. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.